Red Crimson 102 here. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard about all the latest rumors of Nintendo Switch 2. The rumors of Nintendo Switch 2 does not seem to end. Every month, every week is a new rumor, and the latest rumor that's going on right now that has everybody talking about it is that Nintendo Switch 2 supposedly releases in September and the latest November. There are going to be two SKUs available, a digital SKU and a physical SKU. Physical SKU is going to cost $500, and that'll be the version where, of course, you can use cartridges, and the $400 version is the digital version, similar to the PS5 and the Series X consoles. Well, the PS5 more so. Well, yeah, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S. That makes sense because both consoles from Microsoft and Sony has a digital version and a physical version. So, some people don't seem to believe this, and I don't blame them. I mean, they are rumors, but if it's true, this will be the first time Nintendo has ever priced a consoles at a high price. Even the N64, which was the most powerful console in its time versus the PS1, was at $250. The Nintendo GameCube, which was Nintendo's last powerful and hardcore console, was priced at $200, I believe, over the $300 PS2 and $300 Xbox OG consoles. But with inflation nowadays, with everything gone up in price, I guess I could believe it. But most importantly, when they said that the Nintendo Switch 2 will cost $500, the first thing that came to my mind was that means the system is going to be very powerful. That's what went over a lot of people's heads. A lot of people were worried about, Nintendo doesn't, they're more conscious friendly on how they price their consoles. And that was true at one point, but we're living in different times, y'all. I mean, a $500 Nintendo system is not far-fetched. I mean, inflation but most important, like I said, that just shows that the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be powerful. It's going to have some power behind it. And we're going to get into that right about now. They are rumors, so Nintendo hasn't confirmed anything, so we really can't say how true these rumors are. And some people are worried about the price, but I don't see why. I mean, people buy cell phones for $1,200, tablets for $800,000, and these PC handhelds for $700, $1,000, $500, whatever. So I mean, if Nintendo comes out, I always say to myself, if Nintendo comes out with a Switch 2 and it's very powerful and it's up there with the ROG Ally, these PC handhelds, and they sell it for $500, $600, I'd buy it even for $700. I'd buy a high price Nintendo console as long as it does what it's supposed to do as far as graphics wise, performance wise. You understand what I'm saying? And there's a lot of haters out there, a lot of bloggers, that say that the Nintendo Switch 2 is not going to be as powerful as the PS5, and those were also the latest rumors as well. The Nintendo Switch 2 was shown backstage at Gamescom to developers running PS5 games. For example, Final Fantasy VII Remake, the PS5 version, the Matrix demo. And if a Switch can do all that, it's going to be pretty powerful. Now, how powerful it's going to be, we just don't know. But the haters and the bloggers, they keep saying, the Switch 2 is not going to be as powerful as the Steam Deck, and it's going to be around a PS4 level. Those are just haters, man. They just don't want to accept the fact that it's a possibility that Nintendo's going to go with power this time around, and it's going to outshine their favorite piece of plastic. And people love to move the goalposts because, matter of fact, let me take that back a notch. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, guys. Let me not get too far ahead of myself and get lost. But, just to get back on topic, I'm gonna just say this. I honestly do believe, from a logical standpoint, that the Switch 2 is gonna be pretty powerful this time around. I don't think Nintendo's playing around, and they're trying to stall that. They're trying to stall a release date by pushing it back. But they said it's going to come out in 2024, the first quarter, I believe, if I can't remember. Now this latest rumor is saying that they're going to release sometime in September, and the latest November in 2024. I think that's too far out, because Nintendo doesn't want these PC handhelds, and with the PS5 Pro coming out and the Series X Pro coming out, to eat into their sales. And speaking of sales, these PC handhelds, have been getting a lot of praise in the comment section on YouTube, period. But really, all these PC handhelds are a commercial failure. The Steam Deck only sold 1.62 million, being its 1.5 to 2 years on the market, and I believe the ROG Ally is at 500,000. The Switch sold 13 million in its first year, I believe. So right about now, what I'm trying to say is all these PC handhelds are major commercial failure, sales-wise. And a lot of the fans, these on YouTube, in the comment section, the bloggers, they don't want to believe that. It's funny. I mean, the Wii U, everybody said that system was a failure, right? It sold 13 million. And everybody says it's a failure. And the Steam Deck only sold 1.62 million since it's been in the market, and the ROG Ally 500,000 units, I believe. But nobody is saying those are failures. So you see how people like to move the goalposts? So 1.62 million in 2 years is considered a success commercially, but 13 million Wii U sold is considered a failure. So how does that make sense? Make that make sense to me. People just love to move the goalposts when it involves their favorite piece of plastic. I don't get paid from any company. Nintendo does not pay me. Sony, Microsoft, Steam, Valve, whatever. None of these companies pay me. I'm a logical thinker. I go by straight logic. Yes, I am one of the most hardcore gamers out there. Yes, I am the game master, but I do not take sides. I play video games. Anything that has a screen on it, I'll game on it. Yes, I do have my favorite company, but I'm not blinded. I'm not going to go out there and say ridiculous things. But truthfully, these PC handhelds are all a failure. They took what Nintendo did. They seen that Nintendo had a great idea, and they stole Nintendo's idea and ran with it, thinking to themselves, oh, if we just make a more powerful Switch, it'll sell. But it didn't happen. It's more complicated than that. Nintendo has been doing this for years, so they're not going to just let Steam and ROG Ally, all these PC wannabe handhelds, these wannabe Switches, PC handhelds, come and blow them out of the water. It does not work like that. Nintendo has built a foundation. They've been doing this for years. They know how things work. And the Steam Deck and all these PC handhelds, they sound very powerful on paper. It sounds good on paper until you get it in your hand. You see it's not really all that. The updates, you have to be online. You have to do the little DRM check-in and the crashing of the games, and constantly have to tweak settings for every game you play. Is so freaking annoying, man. And the battery life is terrible. Who plays video games for an hour? That makes no sense to me. But we're not going to get into all that. But fact of the matter is, man, Nintendo had it right with the Nintendo Switch all along. And I see people like to make fun of the Nintendo Switch, saying that, oh, it's 9 years old, it's using the chip that's 9 years old about now, and the Switch been on the market for 7 years. Listen, man, when the Switch first came out in 2017, it was the most advanced hybrid handheld console on the market in its time. Even though the Switch came out at a weird time within the middle of the life cycle of the Xbox One and the PS4. It used a 2-year-old chip upon release. It uses a 250. Excuse me, guys. The Nintendo Switch used a chip from 2015 and the Switch itself was released in 2017. So that's 2 years apart. The PS5 and the Series X also uses a chip, a graphics card that's 2 years old as well. I don't hear anybody complaining. People just love to move move the goalpost. But when another company is doing better than their favorite company, it's a problem. They find all these excuses. They say, oh, the Nintendo Switch is weak. It plays game at 30 FPS, drop FPS. It's not 60 FPS. Listen, the PS5 and the Series X all drop frame rates just as well, and resolution. Every console out there, every handheld out there drop frame rates just like the Nintendo Switch. There are no console or PC handheld that's an exception. The ROG Ally, as much as people praise it, and Steam Deck, they praise these PC handhelds, they're nowhere on par to the PS5 and the Series X. They're not on par, right? But the games still look good. They look similar because of the software, and in handheld form, it looks like a PS5 and like a Series X, and nobody's complaining. The ROG Ally, the Steam Deck cannot play games at 4K. They cannot play AAA games at 1600p in handheld form at 60 FPS. It's just not happening. These PC handhelds are still playing games at 720p, 60 FPS and whatnot, and they still struggle to play some games at 1080p, 60 FPS as well. They have drop frames as well. So they're going through the same thing that the Switch is currently going through now, just with a little bit more newer tech than the Switch. On that, so people just love to move the goalposts, and it's just sickening, guys. But the haters are saying, oh, the Switch 2 is gonna be as powerful as a PS4. No, it's not. That doesn't even make any sense because the current Switch already plays PS4 and Xbox One games. So why would they come out with a Switch 2 that's on par with the PS4? Obviously, even though the Switch is not as powerful as the PS4 or Xbox One, the way how it's designed, it can still play those games. You have to understand that. Take Alien Isolation, for example. Alien Isolation looks better on the Switch versus PS4, and you guys can go on Digital Foundry and look at that yourself. So how is it that the Switch can play PS4 games, almost have identical graphics and frame rate, or even half the frame rate, but it can play PS4, Xbox One games? That doesn't make any sense. So why would you come out with a Switch 2 that's on par with PS4 when the Switch already can play PS4, Xbox One games? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And if you guys really want to be funny, if Nintendo was supposed to make the Switch 2 on par with a PS4 console, a PS4 console in 2024 with newer chipset and optimized software would look better than the PS4 that came out in excuse me guys, I'm getting tongue tied here. What I'm saying is a 2024 PS4 with newer hardware and optimized software would look better than a PS4 that came out in 2013. If that makes any sense to you guys. But for those tech heads out there, you absolutely know what I am talking about. The Nintendo Switch 2 is not going to be on par with the PS4, and even if it was, with DLSS and newer chipset, it'll push it to close to PS5 visuals. Because as you can see, the PC handhelds have similar visuals to the PS5 and Series X. But are they on par? No. The only thing the Switch needs to do is make sure that the system is powerful enough to run current gen games at 60 FPS bare minimum. Anything over 60 FPS, 120 FPS is fine as well. But I don't want to make this video longer than it already is, but I just want to say this, man. This is what I want to say in the whole matter. I believe the Switch 2 is going to be very powerful, significantly more powerful than the current Switch we have now. And Nintendo is waiting for the right time to release the system. If you notice Nintendo's trend with the Wii U, and especially the Nintendo Switch, they came out after PS4 and Xbox One dropped. Nintendo basically just want a whole year to themselves. So if they have to wait several years just to make sure that they're gonna have a release window a whole year to themselves, that's what they're gonna do. And I used to ask myself, why is Nintendo keeping their specs so strict? Why they don't release their specs to the public and show us all what they're gonna do with the Switch 2? And that's why we have all these rumors of what the Switch 2 is supposed to be. But I understand why Nintendo doesn't reveal the Switch 2 specs to the world, because they just don't want the competition to get the drop on them. If all these PC handheld companies and Xbox and PlayStation know what Nintendo specs are, anybody can easily combat those specs. They can say, "Oh, that's what Nintendo's going with. Oh, we'll just use this right here. That's 2-3 times more powerful than what the Switch is doing. Oh, they still using underpower. Okay, we got them." So it'll be easy to overshadow the Switch 2 if competition know what they were doing. They could make a better Switch than Nintendo themselves. So it's smart what Nintendo's doing by keeping, their specs on the wraps and letting these companies sign these confidential contracts that you can't let anybody know what our specs is like. So that's kind of smart. Nintendo wants to keep the competition guessing so nobody can know what their specs is going to be and they can easily combat that. So that's actually kind of smart, but it's only so long they can do that. Because, developers actually need the development kits in their hand if Nintendo want all these games, these current gen games to be on the Switch 2. And Nintendo saw how successful the current Switch is. And they also saw not making the system that much powerful or coming out with a pro Nintendo Switch, a more beefed up Switch. They also saw how many games they were missing. Because if the Switch was a little bit more powerful, we could have got a native version of Elden Ring, Kingdom Hearts, Control, and Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 2, and so forth. All those big AAA games natively run on the system. But due to the limitation of the Nintendo Switch, they had to do it via cloud. So Nintendo's just sitting back and they're watching. They're watching the market. They see the Lenovo Go they see the Lenovo Legion Go that's about to come out at the end of this month. They see the ROG Ally. They see the Steam Deck. They see what these PC handhelds are doing, what they're capable of. So Nintendo has to come right, because the odds is really against it with these PC handhelds, and not to mention the pro versions of the PS5 and the Series X is right around the corner a year from now. So they have to be selective on when they release the specs on the system and when they release the Switch as well, because they don't want to get sandwiched in between the pro systems from Sony and Microsoft as well as these PC handhelds. Because if Nintendo comes under par with the Switch 2, they may face a huge problem. Because why go with an underpowered Switch 2 that still can't play current gen games due to the lack of power, whereas you can play all the current gen games, AAA games, on the competing PC handhelds? So Nintendo really has an uphill battle to fight, so they have to be really, really smart. So that's why I'm saying that this time around, I'm thinking logically here, guys. This time the Switch 2 is going to be powerful. The Nintendo really has no choice. They can't really skimp on performance anymore, because right now their back is against the wall. It's just too many devices people can go to right now and play the same games we're playing on the consoles, on the devices. The iPhone 15, from what I saw, is able to play the new Assassin's Creed Mirage and Resident Evil 4 Remake, for examples. And for you to have a full-blown game with no cutbacks on a cell phone, that's a problem right there. That just goes to show you how far technology has came. So Nintendo has no choice but to release a more powerful Switch. They cannot skip on power. Like, the bare minimum, it should be around the same performance level as a ROG Ally. But I believe Nintendo was gonna even outdo that, because Nintendo's been doing this for years. Nintendo's capable of optimizing their system, their handhelds, a lot better than anybody. I believe Nintendo could come out with a Switch 2 where you can run all these AAA games at 60 FPS and still have like 4 or 5 hour battery life. They definitely can do that through optimization. Because the problem with these PC handhelds, they sound really good on paper as far as what they can do, but Windows is not really ideal for a handheld to run PC console games. It has to be optimized somewhat, and that's why I would say the Steam Deck is like the best handheld, because Valve was actually smart. They did it similar to Nintendo. They came out with their own operating system, which is Proton, which it runs the games efficiently between battery life, and graphics. So Valve actually did it right. I'll say, and as far as having that efficient battery life and graphics, Valve was smart by going with their own operating system, and Nintendo has been doing it right since day one. Because all these consoles, they have their own operating system, which, runs in favor of these games as far as power efficiency. And one thing about Nintendo, efficiency is their number one thing. They want to give you the graphics and a great long battery life with no games crashing whatsoever. So the summary is, guys, of this whole video, I would like to say, is that I don't believe the Switch 2 is going to be on par to PS4. It's actually going to be a lot more powerful. Nintendo's going with power this time. If you look back at some of the old articles on Google, Nintendo themselves has said they told developers to get their 4K games ready, which means the next Switch or whatever console they're coming out with is going to be capable of 4K. So if Nintendo's making a 4K system, that means it's not going to be weak. You need a powerful system to do 4K. A weak system cannot do 4K. And with DLSS 3.5 and NVIDIA, which are the best graphic card makers, they definitely can work some magic, and that Nintendo Switch 2 will be able to look like PS5 game. And from what I've been hearing, the Switch 2 actually does some things better than the PS5, which makes sense because they're using newer tech. The tech that's in the PS5 and Series X is pretty old now. Nintendo's actually using newer tech with NVIDIA within the Switch 2. So they have a leg up by working with NVIDIA. So I strongly do believe that the Switch 2 is going to be powerful. How powerful, we don't know. But it doesn't have to look like a PS5. As long as it can run current gen games at 60 FPS, that's all they need. As far as the price point goes, $400, $500 rumors. If it's true, that means Nintendo is really going with power this time, but they have no choice to, because they do not want to get sandwiched in between the Pro consoles from Microsoft and Sony as well as PC handhelds. They have to come with power this time. They have to meet these PC handhelds halfway. And that's that. Nintendo's not stupid. They know what they're doing. They've been doing this for years. And that's about it, guys. I just wanted to touch on that topic. I know it's been a long time since you guys heard from me. It's been a while since I did a video. I've been kind of busy. I had better things to do than YouTube, but I had to throw something out there for you guys, for the little bit of subs that I have. And if you guys are new to my channel, you just came across my channel, definitely drop a like and subscribe. It'll help my channel out. And for my current subs, man, I appreciate you guys, and keep supporting me. I appreciate the support. And as far as what I talked about in this video, the Switch being $400 for the digital Switch 2 and $500 for the physical Switch, let me know how you guys feel about it. You think that's not Nintendo style for pricing the next console so high, or due to inflation you think it's about right? And do you think, in this day and age with inflation and people buying $1,200 cell phones and tablets and $700 PC handhelds, do you think the $500 price, when you put all those factors together, it's not really a big deal? Or do you think if it is $500 for the next Switch, that means it's gonna have some pretty decent power under the hood? Drop a comment, man, in the comment section and let me know how you feel about that. And as far as backwards compatibility, I didn't even touch on that. This is just my opinion, guys, and like I said, I look at things from a logical standpoint, and you know, I'm quite familiar with Nintendo and how they've been working how they operate for years, and I absolutely do believe that the Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible, some way, shape, or form, because if they have two SKUs, the $500 SKU, that's the SKU that'll be backwards compatible with your old Nintendo Switch. And as far as like the digital content of the older games, I think they may have some kind of patch where the games look and run better. It goes either way. And they also show Breath of the Wild running in 4K at 60 FPS, man. And some people were wondering if Nintendo's going to do that. But you know what? I can say that for another video. That's about it, guys, man. Like and subscribe, man, and drop a comment in the comment section about what we talked about here. Peace out.